What do you remember about your first match with Hogan? I guess it was at the Paul Bosch retirement show, I think, right?
Right, the one in Houston, Texas, right?
Right.
It was like, I don't know, it was like unbelievable, you know. It was crazy. It was, people ask me that now, and I'm like, man, you can't believe what it was like. It was just, it's hard to explain the noise volume and things like that. You know, when he walked out to the ring, you know, usually you go out to the ring, it was so loud, you couldn't believe how loud. When he come through and rip his t-shirts off and do all that jazz thing and start flexing in the ring, the noise was so loud. It was unbelievable. You couldn't even talk in the ring, a match or anything. It was so loud through the whole match, you know, with him. It was crazy.
Did Hogan politic at all afterwards to work a program with you?
I don't believe so.
It was just natural.
It was just we didn't work any angles at all. It was just a natural thing, I guess. I assume people had seen me from World Class and whatever, one-man gang, you know, big old monster guy, and I assumed I looked like a threat to the title because everywhere we went, we did sell-out business. We set the attendance record in Montreal at the Forum there. We had the attendance record for years and may still stand. I don't know.
Do you feel cheated? You never got to work a singles match with Hogan on pay-per-view?
No, I mean, of course I feel cheated. I feel, you know, of course you always feel cheated. But I mean, if it didn't happen, it didn't happen. You know, I mean, I was just happy to be there and be part of the company for a while. And I mean, I felt that I was, you know, I had a little 3 or 4 month run with Hogan. You know, every night was somewhere, but then it was cut off like cold turkey, just cut right there, and DiBiase came in, you know, and I'm like, what the heck, what happened here?
Huh.
You know, I never did feel, you know, I hear that DiBiase, you know, had Vince's ear, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but I guess I wasn't that type of person. I wasn't a big stooge. I ain't saying he was, but I know he had Vince's ear, and so.
You didn't play politics.
I didn't play politics, exactly. That's been my biggest downfall in my whole career. I didn't play politics.
Right. What was Randy like back then?
Randy was just, he was crazy, just like years later, he never changed, you know, with that same gruff, you know, and all that, just crazy all the time. It's hard to explain. I mean, when I first went there, I had nowhere to live, so I lived with him, you know, in his house.
Right.
I had my own room and everything like that, but, I mean, he's crazy. He'd be up in the middle of the night, you know, training, lifting weights. He had his weights in his house, you know, bench and everything. I mean, be in the middle of the night, and you'd hear him in there lifting weights, and he's just nuts.
Was he paranoid back then at all?
All the time.
Yeah.
Especially with they had this fascination with Lawler and all this
the other company.
the Memphis group. They had this fascination about always challenging them on using their TV time, you know, their ICW TV time. They'd get on there and challenge Lawler and his little group to, you know, all kind of, you know, baby diaper matches or baby bottle match or anything, you know. And then they would show up at the arena where they're wrestling. And
I remember that.
Challenge them at ringside and do all kind of goofy. I mean, I didn't even at that time it didn't, you know, it didn't seem that strange. But now as years went by, I've thought about it and thought, why would you use your own precious TV time? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Anybody would love to have a wrestling television show, you know, and they're going to use their TV time instead of showcasing one of their talent. They're wasting it challenging this other group that don't even care probably squat about them anyway, you know.
How did Randy Savage change in the WWF when he was on top as compared to the guy you knew in ICW?
I don't know if he changed. I mean, we really didn't speak that much, to be honest. I mean, I don't know about changing wise. He still seemed the same to me. He still seemed crazy as ever, you know.
Do you think he might have been jealous knowing that he was like next in line for a series of matches with Hogan, and then he saw you coming in as a threat to him, or?
If he was, I have no idea. I mean, I didn't. When I first came in, I didn't go right with Hogan though. It took, you know, it took a few months for me to get to that position.
What are some of your memories of matches? I guess you teamed up with Harley Race and you worked Andre the Giant and Dick Murdoch at the Superdome.
Yeah, that was one of my first big time, you know, teaming up matches. I was nervous wreck. I mean, here I am, a little kid from South Carolina, teaming up with world champion Harley Race. You got Andre the Giant. You know what I'm saying? So basically, I don't remember much about the match. The only thing I can remember basically about the match is they pulled this little joke on me in the ring, and they knew, you know, from the guys in the territory knew I don't drink. I'm a non-drinker, always have been. I don't care much for it, but anyway, they knew that. And Murdoch, he goes out there. He at the time, a Captain Redneck thing. He carries that backpack thing. You know, he used to carry an Army helmet and always have something in the backpack. So him and Andre, they discussing his little plan. You know, so we're working and working and working, and finally Andre hooks me. You know, he does the old hook behind. You know, and marches me over to dig Murdoch, and Murdoch turns his back to me. I can't see what he's doing. He's reaching in his little backpack. I'm thinking he might be getting a shovel or something like that, and he's over there. You see his body moving, but I can't see what he's doing. And Andre, he's laughing, you know. So when he spins around, I'm expecting a punch or a shovel or something. He's got a can of beer, and he pops the top, you know, and shoves it in my mouth. I'm so shocked, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's just spewing all down my throat and all over me, you know. And they're like, it's the funniest thing in the world. To these guys,
right.
I'm choking to death on beer in the Superdome in front of all these people, and Andre's laughing his ass off. He thinks it's the funniest thing in the world.
Now, how did Andre treat you? Because some guys say he didn't like to work with other big guys for fear of exposing his size. Was he pretty good with you?
I never had any trouble with Andre either. To be, you know, I know it sounds redundant, but it's the truth. But when I was in Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling, and they brought Andre the Giant in to face me, you know. And the first night we worked, you know, I'm like, this is Andre the Giant, so I'm flying. We'd met, of course, like I said, from Mid-South. He knew me. But I'm flying and taking all these bumps and everything. So after the match, he takes me to the side and he goes, boss, I'm out there for you, you know, like that. He says, I'm out there to make you look good. I come here, and I'm like, oh, man, I'm totally, I thought it was the, you know,
right.
I thought it was the other way. I'm the heel, you're Andre the Giant. No, I'm out there to make you look good, you know. And then years later in WWF, you know, we'd sit around and talk some and different things, you know. So
respecting him.
Exactly. I respected him, you know, and I guess he showed me the same respect back, because I never put down the business. I never, you know, I never did anything to disrespect anybody. You know what I'm saying? I tried to always be a nice guy, and I love the business. That was, you know, I didn't need drinks. I didn't need the drugs or anything. That was my high, was the business, you know. Just be able to go out to that ring night after night after night after night and entertain the people and feel good that I had a good match. You know, that these ticket buyers were, I hope that, you know, they thought they got their money's worth from the one-man gang, you know.
Right. Now, Andre the Giant, he was around this time, and you actually teamed with Andre a couple times at this period. How physically shot was Andre around this time?
It was pretty bad. He was physically wise. He's, you know, barely could make it to the ring at times, you know. So basically, if we was in tag matches or whatever, we try to pull most of the match and just, you know, basically get Andre in for a couple little this or that. But
right.
Health-wise, you could see, you know, he just wasn't there anymore. Knees and whatever, his whole body was just going to pot, basically, you know. But he was still Andre the Giant, you know what I'm saying? And
right.
To me, he was anyway, no matter what anybody else saw. To me, he was Andre the Giant. That's like, man, oh man.
You think he just hung in there for the money, or?
I don't think he needed the money. I believe he enjoyed the company.
Right.
You know, I mean, his life had been wrestling his whole life. He already had that huge ranch and all that. He could go home anytime and live comfortably. I believe he enjoyed being around the boys and going to the dressing room and play cards all night. And, you know, he was the only one allowed to drink in the dressing room. He'd have his vat of wine, you know,
right.
and drink all night and play cards with the boys and just have, you know, have a good time in the dressing room. I believe he just enjoyed doing that. It wasn't the money.
What are your memories of working your first pay-per-view? I guess it was at Survivor Series.
To me, it didn't affect me that much. I mean, I wasn't like all nervous or anything. If you mean I was nervous or anything like that about it, I mean, to me it was just another chance to go to the ring and wrestle. It didn't even cross my mind that, you know, this is a pay-per-view and you might have millions and millions of people watching. I just went out there and tried to do what I had to do. It didn't affect me as like now they push it so big, you know, pay-per-view, and I guess I've been in so many matches, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I've been in the Superdome, I've been in stadiums and everything already, you know, so pay-per-view didn't mean anything to me, really. I mean, I was glad to be on them because the paydays was always a lot better.
Right.
I mean, that was our whole big deal. You got to remember, we only had 4 big shows a year, basically. I mean, you had Madison Square Garden, but I'm talking about pay-per-view.
Right, so like Survivor Series, Rumble, Mania, and I forgot the other one.
SummerSlam.
Yeah, SummerSlam.
That was our big 4, you know. You hope you get on those because that was your big paydays. Because we wouldn't, you know, we was paid according to where you work at on the cards, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't no, I'm not sure how Hogan and these other guys, they may have a guarantees. Most of the guys, you know, we all was on like you know, if you was opening match, you got opening match pay. If you was main event, you got main event pay. TV days when we had to do TV tapings, if you wasn't in the dark match, meaning the match after all the show was over, which was against Hogan or somebody,
right,
that was a payday. You got
right.
paid for that. But if you was just in a regular TV show, you got $50.
Right, right.
And people didn't believe. I'll tell people now, you know, we got $50 for TV.
Yep, I heard.
$50.
Huh.
I'm like, I didn't even pay our car rental.
Right.
You know, and they thought that was right. You know, you go up there and they pay $50. You mean, y'all got to be crazy.